Hi, welcome to the Destin Business Forum, brought to you by the Destin Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Amy Perry, and our guest today is Brian Brennan. You are with Affordable Home Insurance.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so tell us what Affordable Home Insurance is.
We pride ourselves on our name, and our name is our motto. We try to incorporate ourselves with the most carriers possible for ultimately our number one source, which is our clients.
Okay. Do you do just home insurance?
We do everything. We do auto, life, commercial. Homeowners is probably 90% of our business, and it goes with auto as well. We cross-sell that as well.
All right. Tell me the difference. We were talking a little bit before, so I'm just going to jump into sort of a specific question. But the difference between a captive agent and an independent agent.
The difference between a captive is they usually represent one, maybe two, three companies at a time. So when you go to a captive agent to get a quote, you're usually getting one quote for one property. If you call us at Affordable Home Insurance, then you may get 25 quotes for said property.
So I would imagine that one of those 25 will be
absolutely. So, and we do this every day, all day. So we usually know who the best carriers are in certain areas, and are able to shop that for that client, and also let them see the difference that could scale from $7,000 all the way down to $1,200, depending on the carrier's pricing.
Really?
Yes.
That's a big difference.
It is, and the difference is that you can see it for yourself. You can see who's hot and really who's not, and be able to price it based accordingly.
Wow! So lots of offers, I'll say.
Yes, we do the shopping for you, which is different than the captive agent.
Okay, and the captive agent only has a couple that it
Correct.
goes to. So, all right, I got it. Flood map.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. There have been some changes?
There are changes coming about next year. We actually have this website that's with the county, and you can click on your county, type in your address, and you can see what the proposed changes are.
Okay.
And I did look at them last week. It looks to me that FEMA's really focusing on the coast, and that's from the Choctawhatchee Bay all the way through the Gulf and the harbor. Anything that's around water is looking to maybe be affected. I looked at my house, it's in an AE, and the VE is now creeping on the property, but it's not touching the house. And that's the important thing in flood. If the flood zone touches the structure, then it is officially in the flood zone.
In the flood zone, and that makes, obviously that would make your insurance higher.
Generally, yes.
Okay. And you were talking a little bit before we started about grandfathering. If I have a home that was in the X zone, let's say, because X is the best. And then because they redrew the maps, it's now in AE. I don't know if it would jump over to VE, but it's in a different zone that would make it a little more expensive. Is there anything you can do for me?
Absolutely. There's two things we generally do. Anytime that...
Tell me to move?
That's a good one. Generally what happens is if it does move, then you're always recommended to get an elevation certificate. Because what they're doing is taking the top of the bottom floor, which is generally the slab, and then they're going to measure to the base flood elevation. And the best thing you can have is +3. So example, base flood is 7. If your house is at 11, you're good because you're +4. So therefore, if the elevation cert does not work, and say, I'm going to call it even money, if your slab is at 7 and the base flood's at 7, then your best bet is usually to grandfather at that point, which you can go back to the X zone, but it'll be a little bit higher than the preferred rate.
Okay, preferred X rate.
Yes, correct.
It'll still be lower than AE.
Generally, yes.
Okay, this is interesting, and it sounds like I don't have to know all that. Do I? Sometimes people know all these little tricks and stuff, but they won't tell you. If I just said, "Oh, Brian, my house just went into this AE," you would tell me possibilities of saving money, right? Or would you just say, if she doesn't ask, I'm not going to tell her?
That is exactly how every single agent in our office works. We treat anyone that calls in, whether it's a $40,000 house or a $20 million house, it doesn't matter. Everybody's treated the same way. In order to save money, we know what we deal with every single day.
Okay.
And like you just said, you're not sure of flood zones and changes and what the rates should or can or cannot be.
Or even that you could be grandfathered. I mean,
that's
somebody
exactly
may
it.
not know that, and they may not know to ask.
And I will say that there's a lot of people out there that don't know it, even on the agent side. But we take pride in knowing and going to continuing educations and really staying on top of it, because we feel like we owe the population and our neighbors and everyone in the community the knowledge that we have to give back to them.
Okay. I like that. Good answer.
Absolutely.
For short-term rentals, let me see if I have a pretty good understanding of this. If I own a home in Florida, have insurance, and then I have a condominium and I want to insure that, I can insure that. If I have an umbrella policy, I can insure that under that too?
There's two types of coverages. You would have to get your own condo policy.
Okay.
So that would be its own. And then if you lived in Georgia, you could generally put it on your umbrella in Georgia.
Okay.
Wherever your umbrella is, it has to be in that home state of where you live.
Okay.
And
But
then,
you can still do it.
Yes, absolutely. And then, but if not, there's some states that do not correspond with Florida, and they'll say, no, you need your own policy, and we can't put it on the umbrella because of the type of risk.
Okay.
And if that's the case, then we can write $1 million, what's considered a CPL, comprehensive personal liability.
Okay.
Acts similar to an umbrella, but it's only $173 a year.
For $1 million worth of coverage.
Correct.
That's good.
It is.
Really good.
It is. And
Tell me, we talked about the different carriers that you represent. If somebody is listening to this and they're like, well, I want to give Brian a try, is there no kind of commitment or anything?
Not
They
at
can
all.
Just call and say.
You know, we take pride in saving people money.
Okay.
You know, we see rates every day. We see coverages every day. We know who's hot, who's not, and I've told plenty of clients, stay where you're at. If it changes next year, call me. And that way, I reinsure them
Sure.
that they know that they're getting the best deal currently or not. And then we change them over when it comes to renewal, or if they're saving a lot of money, we do it sooner than later. And we
Okay.
try to steer away from hurricane season.
Right, because it's tough to write. It's
Sometimes.
tough to write if there's like a named hurricane. Is
That's
that
correct.
Okay,
That's
all right.
correct.
Cool. Well, I think I have all my insurance questions answered for now. I'll need you to come back and tell me about this flood map if it changes. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to Chamber upcoming events. Friday, October 14th, breakfast on the Bay, 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. The location is Lulu's. The sponsor is Trustmark National Bank, and it's $15 for members. Thursday, November 17th, it's the 4th annual Bourbon at the Bay, presented by Smileology. Thursday, November 17th, at Regatta Bay Golf and Country Club. Bourbon, Scotch, and Champagne tastings. Sponsorships and tickets are available. See Bryce for that. Thursday, December 15th is the Destin Chamber 50th Anniversary Celebration. It's sponsored by Fort Walton Beach Medical Center and Twin Cities Hospital. The VIP reception is sponsored by Trustmark National Bank. The gala is sponsored by Newman Daily Resort Properties and Dale E. Peterson Vacations. Tickets and sponsorships are available, and you can just call the chamber to find out more about that. See you next time.